so a couple of weeks ago we talked about different types of elephant ears. Mostly went over colocasias. Today we have some caladiums that are actually ready to start to go. We grow them very similar to colocasias, which are here. This is a newer table, just planted up last week. And then we have another table there. They're a little bit older. Those are probably 2 weeks ago. They all grow very, very fast, as long as they're in good sun and sitting in water. Our caladiums are all sitting in water also. As you can see, there's only a couple inches though. We don't put a whole lot of water in with the caladiums. They don't like to be submerged too much. But as long as they're actively growing, not dormant, you can put them in a little like saucer of water and keep the water in there all the time. But you need to give them a lot of sun at that point. Sometimes some of them won't take full sun. Some of them might have to back off a little. If these were not in water, there's no way they could be in full sun. They'd just shrivel up. They would look horrible. There's a lot of beautiful colors in them, just many different ones. And I know you got some pictures already before I started with this, so you'll probably fan those in there at some point or another. We have some fancy ones that we have that we're growing at the other property that aren't quite up yet. A lot more money, but they're really cool colors, and those will be out probably next week. We'll start adding them to the nursery here.
These are really cool. These leaves, like that are.
Well, that's the flower.
Oh.
So this here is, if it was pollinated, this here probably is open in the morning, and if it pollinated, this not even ready to open. It'll probably open tonight. The female parts and male parts are in different parts. That's the female parts down there. There's the male parts up here, and the pollen on the male will come first, which means this one cannot pollinate the female part. Another flower has to be open at the same time.
Is this another flower here?
Yes.
Oh, so they're close to each other. Maybe they'll pollinate each other.
Well, we gotta make sure that the moths are out when they're doing this, because this will be pollinated by moths, because it's gonna be ready usually in nighttime, maybe first thing in the morning. I really haven't played with the caladiums to see when they really open. A lot of times the female section is only open for a short time. The female part's only open for a short time usually, and then the male part's open for a much longer period of time. So usually there'll be a scent on the female part when it's ready to pollinate. So you can cross-pollinate all the different colors and probably collect the seeds on them. It's no different than doing colocasias or alocasias, anthuriums, any of those things. They all kind of pollinate the same way. I don't know if you could cross them. We do have one that we're going to go over there in a little bit that's really a caladium, but it's being reclassified as an alocasia, which to me is really incorrect, but you can't argue with the people doing this stuff. But anyway, the one to show the different colors on here, some of them are really cool, and they're really easy to grow, especially if you can get them in full sun and in some water. Even up north, as long as the temperatures stay above 40, 45 degrees, they'll start to go dormant. Once they go dormant, if you live up north, you would just put them in a cool, dry place. If you have a root cellar or something, which means you'd have to have an older house up there, you can put them down in the root cellar. You can put them in the refrigerator in a brown paper bag, because you don't want to hold moisture. You gotta let them dry out fully first, and you can store them in the refrigerator. You just gotta watch that no moisture is getting to them, because they might start to grow like onions would grow in your fridge. Same idea. So you don't want that moisture. And unfortunately, the newer refrigerators and stuff the crispers have moisture in them to try to keep your vegetables last longer. So it defeats the purpose of what we want to do. We want to keep these dry and cool. And these will grow pretty big. With being in full sun and being in water, these leaves will get the size of some of the smaller colocasias, because they're in the water and they're in the full sun. So they'll get very large leaves too. So while we're here, this is the one we did a couple weeks ago. I don't remember this one that was packaged.
Oh yeah, the one where we accidentally cut the...
Yeah, and it's been kind of ignored and just kind of tossed out here. We haven't done anything with it, but it's still growing. It's putting babies out now on the side. So, and this is the one that pretend traveled. See the
Pretend
babies?
traveled.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
And it's doing fine. We're gonna put this in a bigger pot. We just put a bunch of our older stock in bigger pots, and they'll look really good. That's when they'll their leaves are really going to start getting big now because we put them in bigger pots. So let's go over here to the Hilo Beauty, which is the other caladium. Sorry, we're doing a lot of construction stuff right now. Sorry.
That's okay.
So this is Hilo Beauty. Hilo Beauty is now considered an alocasia.
Oh, that's pretty.
Yeah, but they'll give all your leaves too. It's really a caladium. It's not really a alocasia, but it is being labeled as that. I'm gonna have to move these out. They moved them from that pond to this pond. That pond is shallower than this one. Right now they're in a little bit too deep of water. So you can see that because of the leaf that's getting messed up here. That could actually, that's an older leaf. That one could have burned from moving them over to full sun. So you wanna just have these just sitting in water. You don't want these super deep in water like they are right now. So